Okay, so in this video, I'm just going to briefly go over a few things a few factors that will affect automobile insurance premiums. So the first one is going to be age. If you are a teen driver or in your early 20s, typically insurance policies are going to cost a whole lot more. Basically because you're viewed as being less experienced, more at risk of getting in accidents, etc. As you get progressively older, generally the premiums decline until you hit a significantly more advanced age. So by the time you start getting to more your 70s, 80s, something like that, eventually those premiums are going to start to go up again. And that's basically due to the fact that oftentimes folks that are in those kind of age categories, they may have more trouble with eyesight, a little bit more trouble with hearing. So their situational awareness may be degrading and things like that, basically. But generally the highest cost insurance policies are going to be, for really younger drivers or much older drivers. Marital status will matter as well. Probably you'll pay less if you're married than if you are single. Your driving record and claims history matters. So if you have a history of lots of claims and you have lots of driving tickets and moving violations, so speeding tickets and reckless driving or what have you, things like that, that's going to lead to more expensive policies, more expensive premiums. The location where the car is kept. So if the car is going to be kept in a more theft-prone area where there are higher rates of crime, that's going to tend to lead to higher premiums. If it's kept on the street where it could be sideswiped by accident more easily, higher risk of damage, so that's going to be more expensive. Also, if it's exposed, it's not inside of a garage, then more risk of hail damage, etc. So if it's in a low crime area, it's in a garage, and all those kinds of things, then that's going to keep the premiums lower typically. The type of car will matter. So, if we're talking a sports car versus a run-of-the-mill sedan, insurance companies are going to kind of evaluate that situation and probably charge higher premiums for that sports car, not just because of the value of the car, although the value of that is definitely a factor if you've got collision and comprehensive, but also just the fact that probably higher risk of somebody doing exorbitant levels of speeding and things like that would occur to the insurance company. And so that's going to lead to some higher premiums. How the car is used and how many miles it's driven. So if it is used just for pleasure and it's not driven a whole lot of miles, typically that's going to be a lower premium. If it is used for the daily commute, that means it's getting used every day. It's on the road, a fair amount of miles, possibly in congested road conditions with lots of traffic. And then if you're driving a whole lot of miles, the more miles you're on the road, just flat out the higher likelihood of accidents at some level. And so basically that's going to tend to bump up the cost of the auto insurance premiums. Possibly the credit score of the insured. So they might look at that and evaluate that possibly as a sort of a metric or a proxy variable for the sort of how good of a planner you are and how responsible you are and things like that. Also, it affects your likelihood of making a claim. If you are in a better financial situation, then you're less likely to make a claim on your policy, things like that. So if you have really poor credit, sometimes your auto insurance will cost more. Um, Also, depending on what kind of policy coverage you have. So if you have collision and comprehensive, your policy is going to cost more. If you don't, then it's going to cost less because you're primarily just paying for liability coverage at that point. The higher the deductible you put in place on your collision and comprehensive coverage, the less expensive that would be. But that would also mean the more money you have to pay out before your insurance company starts paying for damages and things. So you have to make sure that you have adequate savings to fund things like that. And there could be lots of other factors that can affect premiums as well. Taking defensive driving courses, what kind of car features, if it has anti-theft devices, things like that. Um, Bundling discounts, if you bundle homeowners insurance with auto insurance and maybe an umbrella policy, sometimes that will result in significant reductions in costs as well. In some cases, if you are a student and you have really good grades, some auto insurance companies have good student discounts. So if you're a college student and you have really good grades, you sometimes can get a discount. And what they consider to be good grades, what you consider to be good grades, might be different things. So it's not necessarily that you have to have a 4.0 or something. They might think that a 3.0 might be fine. You'd have to ask them and find out. But sometimes there are some benefits to that, and they will actually in some cases say, oh, if you can provide transcripts indicating your GPA, then you get a discount. So there can be lots of different factors that can affect the amount of an auto insurance premium. Hopefully these factors have been kind of helpful and gives you an idea about how some of those things affect auto insurance premiums. Have a great day, and thank you for watching.